One thing my wife is not going to put up with, nor I, is lying. You get to the point where you're lying, then that makes it hard for you to trust the person, right? Well, that makes it hard for us to trust our children. You have a literal lying thief on your hands. Well, you got to confront them, right? Well, we deal with that with our children. We talk to them. We tell them why it's wrong. There's discipline that comes with it, but it's only after it's become repetitive. We try to make sure that that communication boundary is still there, because we don't want to lose the relationship with them just because they're being sinful, right? We leave the area for grace. We leave the area for them to mend the relationship always. But doing wrong will not be tolerated. We can't just look at our children and say, oh, well, you know, though you did the same thing that you did last time, and I gave you a pat on the back this time, it's going to be different. You're not showing them anything different. They think that, well, they're getting by if you're showing them the same amount of quote-unquote discipline that they're used to. Well, I think they got off scot-free, technically. You have to set limits on behavior so they understand right and wrong. Moving on. We're going to the verywellminded.com. This website, it broke it down in a different way, and I believe that it helped me understand a lot better. It goes on to say, authoritative parents is characterized by reasonable demands and high responsiveness. While authoritative parents might have high expectations for their children, they also give their kids resources and support they need. Parents who exhibit this style listen to their children and provide love and warmth in addition to limits and fair discipline. This approach to parenting avoids punishments and threats, and instead relies on strategies such as positive reinforcement. That should never be a reason to threaten your kids. This one gives a brief history on the different parenting styles. It goes on to say, during 1960s, developmental psychologist Diana Baumrind described 3 different parenting styles: authoritarian, authoritative, and permissive. These types were based on her research with preschool-age children. The authoritative parenting style is sometimes referred to as the Democrat. It involves a child-centric approach, which parents hold high expectations for their children, backed by support and guidance. Traditionally, the authoritative parenting style has been identified as the most effective and helpful to a child. Research suggests that parents should flexibly deploy parenting techniques based on their personal goals and unique behaviors of each child. Based off of that, the personal goals, based off of the behaviors of each unique child. My wife and I, we have our oldest 3 are worlds different. We have a decisive child, we have a extremely extroverted child, and we have a child who, to a degree, knows what she wants when she wants it. And all 3 of them need their freedom to figure out how to regulate themselves. So we implement the teaching. We teach them what our expectations are. We teach them biblical expectations, because God's expectations for our lives matter more than my personal bias. So that comes before all, and we let them figure it out. Of course, coaching along the way, giving them the expectations of what's expected of them, and also giving them the space to execute what is expected of them in their own personal way. But there is no flexibility between right and wrong. We still expect obedience, just as God expects obedience. Characteristics according to the bomb read: authoritative parents share some common characteristics, traits that they exhibit, include administering fair and consistent discipline when rules are broken, allowing children to express their opinions, encourage the children to discuss options, expressing warmth, nurturing, fostering independence and reasoning, listening to their children, and placing limits, consequences, expectations on their children's behavior. This is literally exactly what we do on our day-to-day. Though they're young, they still need restrictions. Though they're young, they still need freedom. Though they're young, they still need toughness, but yet tenderness. Like, the expectations of authoritative parents are high. These kinds of parents also tend to be flexible if there are extenuating circumstances. Authoritative parents will adjust their response accordingly. And you can't go with having multiple children expecting them to respond like the oldest child. Our oldest child tends to be more of the one who can take the full impact to a degree, the full impact of the challenge or what is expected of them. By the time you get to the third child, that child usually is kind of a softie, depending on the birth order and how long they're separated. But the youngest child tends to be more of the free spirit in a way. So they think that since they're the youngest, that they don't really have to follow the rules. At least in my household, that's how he he tries to go about things. Parents with this style are able to adjust and adapt their approach depending on the situation, their child's needs, and other factors may be present. Discipline then takes into account all variables, including the child's behavior, situation, and so on. Now, they have a brief scenario comparing the authoritarian and authoritative styles. For example, imagine a situation where two young boys steal candy from the grocery store. How each boy's parents deal with the situation characterizes the difference between these parenting styles. This one is talking about the authoritative parents. Says, when the boy with the authoritative parents finally arrives home, he receives fair punishment that fits the nature of the transgression. An example of how the authoritative parent might look in this situation: he is grounded for 2 weeks and must return the candy and apologize to the store owner. His parents talk to him why stealing is wrong. His parents are supportive and encourage him not to engage in such behavior again. Now, the thing that we're stressing right here is the communication. It says his parents talk to him why it was wrong and are supportive of him changing and not doing this again. That's what's lacking nowadays. In this society, we expect our children to know. We expect them to either learn from us or do what we do. And that's not teaching them. It's letting them figure it out. That's letting them wholeheartedly self-regulate. We can't do that. We have to have communication with our children, teach them why it's wrong, show them why it's wrong, what is the outcome of it, and then let them figure it out. Not, well, stealing is wrong, you shouldn't do it. So, yeah, but don't let it happen again. Authoritarian parents. The other boy has authoritarian parents, so his consequences look quite different. The example of how authoritarian parenting might look in this situation: when he arrives home, he's yelled at by both parents. His father spanks him. His father orders him to spend the rest of the night in his room without dinner. The child with the authoritarian parents was disciplined, but the support and guidance for encouraging the desire of future behavior. The child with authoritarian parents, on the other hand, was not given support or love and received no feedback or guidance about why the theft was wrong. Lack of communication. All he knows is that the parents were upset about something, but not specifically why. He just got berated. It says, in the past, child development experts influenced by Baumritt's work generally identified with the authoritative parenting style as the best approach to parenting. Research has been repeatedly shown that children raised by authoritative parents tend to be more capable, happy, and successful. According to Baumritt, children of authoritative parents are self-confident about their abilities to learn new things, develop good social skills, have good emotional control and regulation, tend to have happier dispositions. It says why it works. Authoritarian parents act as role models and exhibit the same behaviors they expect from their children. Yeah. Because of this, their kids are more likely to internalize these behaviors and exhibit them as well. Consistent rules and discipline allow children to know what to expect. Yeah. These parents tend to exhibit good emotional understanding and control. Their children also learn to manage their emotions and learn to understand others. Yeah. Authoritarian parents also allow children to act independently. This freedom teaches children that they are capable of accomplishing things on their own, helping to foster strong self-esteem and self-confidence. Some parents are naturally more authoritative than authoritarian or permissive. However, this doesn't mean that you cannot adopt more of the authoritative parenting style.